Coach Saban comments about Tai Simpson, Hugh Freeze. Hey, he's on the hot seat, but he knows exactly how to be off of that hot seat. We're going to get into that. Ryan Williams for Heisman. Could he possibly win that award? I want to hear from Jake Coker and more right here on the Elephant in the Room, brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. It's the time to get over there. You don't have to be a pro like Coker to go out there and hit the ball around. The Azaleas, the Oaks, two multi-million-dollar course that are beautiful, and you don't need a membership to get in. You don't have to have – you get the Coker treatment even if you're just a regular Joe like me. Let's get the show started, guys. All right, there he is, Jake Coker. I'm Mick Gillispie. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's going on? Same old, same old.
Did you like that? Get the Coker treatment?
Yeah.
Do you get good treatment, or you get some of that celebrity stuff when you get out there?
I don't know about all that. I mean, I tend to hang out with the crowd, so I get the same shit everybody else does.
Well, good to see you today. Lots to talk about. You and I like talking about some of the same stuff. We have our pre-show meetings, and I'm going to start with this. Nick Saban basically saying that Tai Simpson, Alabama QB, true example of development. And this is a guy who kind of had a similar path as you, like had the red shirt behind, got a quarterback battle, didn't win that, waited his time, and now he's got an opportunity. You took advantage of your opportunity. You won the national championship. You led a team. You had to fight your ass off to get that opportunity. He's been doing the same thing. I mean, he had a big battle for the quarterback job this spring, and it appears that the job's his. And to hear Coach Saban say that, what does it mean?
I mean, look, he's saying what everybody else is thinking, and especially, in my opinion, a guy that hangs around that long in this era. I don't know how much money he was offered at other schools, but that had to have happened behind the scenes. Everybody's seen him play enough. Everybody knows. I think everybody understands Ty's pretty advanced mentally when it comes to playing the quarterback position in college. And one thing people don't think about, I mean, sometimes you spend 1 year as a backup. Some years, I mean, rarely are you not the backup before you're the starter, unless you're a, true freshman, which is more and more unheard of lately. But the guy's had 2 years as the backup, really being a coach on the sideline. He's also got those 2 reps, which when you're the backup for 2 years, the third string guy doesn't get many reps. The second string guy gets almost as many reps as the first string guy, probably 75% of those reps. So you got a guy who spent 2 years, repping with the 2s here and there with the 1s, knows his teammates real well outside of the guys who have transferred in and the brand new guys. But, you stick around a program that long, I say that long in today's terms, like it used to be, the continuity, just the familiarity you bring to the field, and I think the comfort level you bring with the players. I mean, I think it translates to all positions. You can almost, I think it's infectious. And so when I talk about Tai Simpson, I just, echoing what Coach Saban said, I mean, he has developed in more ways than just being a better player, but also being familiar with the program in and of itself, being that leader that, was a part of the transition from Coach Saban to Coach DeBoer. Again, really bringing a lot of comfort to those guys who were under him or coming in brand new. He's probably been there. He's got to be one of the oldest players, and if not one of the oldest players, he's probably been there longer than just about everybody on that roster. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
This will be his 4th year. Between transfers and guys leaving early, there can't be many guys left in that class. So, to me, rolling into the 2nd year, I don't know if there's a better guy to find in this day and age to replace a starter in Jalen Milroe.
Right. Well, I mean, you don't get a lot of guys like this because
No.
most of them are going to take the money and leave. And we did the math. I mean, there was no way that he wasn't going to win the quarterback job unless he absolutely botched it. Because if you would have given it to somebody else, then he would have just transferred, right? I mean, after all the time that he's put in, and then all of a sudden now you're down to two guys. When you have three now, so I mean, I feel like that him being there and being the starter makes the mathematical sense too. I mean, because if you subtracted him, then you would have had two, right? But keeping him, you have three. Austin Mack, the backup, and then Keelan Russell, the third string guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I think, I want to say I heard Bill Belichick say you got to learn how to not lose games before you learn how to win them. And, when you bring a guy in, and I've said this since day one, Keelan Russell has all the tools. I mean, that guy's got to be probably the most physically talented guy. But when you're that young coming in, it's hard to be that consistent and not cost your team games because of big time mistakes in the quarterback position. I mean, you can make 10 great plays, you make two bad ones, and you lose a game. I mean, the ratio of good plays to bad plays has to be much higher at the quarterback position than most other positions. Obviously at DB you can have some bad plays that cost you the game, but I mean, you throw two costly picks, maybe even one costly pick, and that loses the game for you. And so I mean, I think once Keelan Russell gets to that point where he is past the point of losing games because of young mistakes, he will be the guy. But for right now, and I don't mean that in a negative way at all. I've made the comparison, or not. I'm not going to say comparison, but the analogy of a Drew Brees-like guy. I mean, Cam Newton far exceeds his physical talent. Drew Brees is extremely accurate, and he could see plays develop before they happen, and was one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Peyton Manning, not the best thrower of the football. I mean, great in NFL context when you look at other quarterbacks and the way they throw, maybe Brett Favre or some of those really big arm talent guys. I mean, there are a lot of guys that had more talent than Peyton Manning, but I mean, to me, he's Tom Brady may have won more, but Peyton Manning's at the top of my list quarterback wise. So it's so much more about mentality than physical talent at the quarterback position, and I think Ty's got all that, especially with kind of a young and commingled wide receiver room with guys transferring in. I think he's going to be really good at getting those pieces to fit into the puzzle, get those guys acclimated quickly. And I think he is a guy who can take Ryan Williams to the next level, because Ryan Williams was a big play machine last year. I really look for him to be that intermediate guy, the crisp route running. I think you see that cleanup this year. And I think Ty helps him understand the timing of routes and where his landmarks are and what he's trying to do each play. I think he brings him to that next level.
Guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us here on Cover Crimson. And I want to remind you a couple things. First off, that we're brought to you by Pearl River, the Azaleas, the Oaks, two amazing golf courses over at Pearl River Resorts, Dancing Rabbit, right there by Silver Star and Golden Moon Casino. You got the Timeout Sports Lounge, Vegas-style sports book. That's in your backyard, hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours and change from Birmingham. But they got amazing slot. I mean, you talk about any kind of slot game, they got it. Table games are awesome there too. And then the water park, Geyser Falls, bring the kids, throw them over there. The spa, hey, wife there. You go golf, Philip M. Steakhouse, then go hit the floor. But check them out at Pearl River Resort in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Our friend Chris Lowe put a story out. Well, really just made a list of the early Heisman Trophy contenders. And coming in at number 10 was wide receiver Ryan Williams. Now, I feel like this is a quarterback award, right? Cade Klubnik, the Clemson QB, was his top guy. Arch Manning, Texas QB 2. Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State wide receiver 3. Garrett Nussmeier, LSU QB 4. DJ Langway of Florida, quarterback 5. Drew Aller, Penn State 6. Lenora Sellers, South Carolina, QB 7. Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame running back in the 8th spot. And then John Mateer, the quarterback from Oklahoma that transferred from Washington State, 9. And then there's Ryan Williams, 10. As a 17-year-old true freshman, Williams was one of the most electric players in the country the first part of last season. He had 5 touchdown catches in the first 4 games, including the game winner against Georgia, and finished with 10 touchdowns, 8 receiving, 2 rushing. Williams has tremendous big play ability, averaged 18 yards per catch, and is dangerously catching the deep ball, or is great at dangerously catching the deep ball, as he can make things happen on the catch. All right. What do you think? Ryan Williams, number 10. Only one true wide receiver has won this award. That'd be a guy named Devontae Smith, old Smitty. 2000.
Does he have the tools? Does he have the tools to win it? Yes, he does. I mean, the guys, he's got all the tools that make great receivers great. I would say, the best quarterback, the best receiver that's played at Alabama, when you think speed, size, agility, route running, every tool you could possibly think of has got to be Julio Jones, right? I mean, that's what, if you built a receiver, that would be the guy. I mean, there's been guys that do certain things probably as good as Julio, but don't have the collective toolbox that he has.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ryan's got to get a little stronger, and like I mentioned earlier in this podcast, he's got to be able to run those routes at an intermediate level on time and be in the right place and be able to dominate within that space. I'd have to see a practice before I felt like I could, gave a greater than 60% on that. I mean, I'm at 50-50 right now because offensively we got a lot to prove this year, and guys got to develop. Is he capable of doing it? Yes, for sure. I mean, but man, when you're playing receiver, there's a lot of variables out there that are going to decide that. And he's got to get the ball enough. He's got to be able to find a way to get the ball enough. And, it's kind of like, I would imagine Ryan Williams, most talented player on offense we're going to have. You're going to think that they're going to get him in a lot of positions to win. Amari Cooper was the closest one I saw to do it. And if there's one guy who finds a way of getting matchups, getting guys open, whatever, through shifts, motions, whatever it may be. Lane did a hell of a job in 2014 with Amari, with Coop. And so you're going to have to get a lot of that. They're going to have to get creative. And I like Ryan Grubb back there, figuring it out. I think you got all the pieces. It just depends on how everything plays out. But does he have the talent? Does he have the ability to do it? Yes. You're talking about a receiver, so maybe tough logistically.
Yeah, right.
But he can do it. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's not normally one of those receiver awards. I think there's a slim chance that he wins the Heisman. I could have a big season. Shank said on the Bama Tailgate show that a lot of these Heisman races are really started the year before. He feels like it's almost a 2-year process to win the award, right? You got to have that first year where you show everybody, and then the second year when you put it away, and maybe Ryan Williams sets it up this year, where next year, which would be his junior year, he has such a tremendous season that he's on everybody's short list and then delivers.
Well, you look at it, it is a popularity contest, right? It's kind of like, I want to say what Tim Tebow should have won it twice.
Right.
He won it the year after, let's see, I guess it was the year they lost to Florida. No, they lost to Ole Miss, came back, won the national championship. I thought that was his Heisman year. They won it the year prior, and I think that was a little bit more of a toss-up. The year after was definitely Tebow's year, but he wasn't the popular opinion because he won the year before. I mean, it's a popularity contest. Things kind of got to align. I've heard Cam Newton talk about the Heisman Trophy here and there. I mean, there's some of those years where it's a clear-cut favorite, but as a receiver, things got to line up just right. And there's a lot of guys who haven't won one. There's going to be some dark horses this year. I mean, it's not just a black and white trophy.
Yeah.
I mean, the year Derek won it, there was no doubt about it who was winning the Heisman Trophy that year.
Right.
But I want to say what it was Tim Tebow, Colt McCoy, and what, Sam Bradford. And Sam Bradford won it that second year. Then Florida just dominated Oklahoma in the national championship. I wouldn't say dominated, but it seemed like it was never really.
I think dominated a good term.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I thought Peyton Manning not win, and I know Alabama fans hate Peyton Manning, but I mean, I thought him not winning the Heisman was kind of they just got so tired of him. I mean, he's the kind of the opposite of what Shank was saying. Like the award. Like the standard that he had to reach was kind of like the Bama standard to win games and get into these playoffs, right? Like in a way, like people just get tired of people being successful. You take the orange and white off of that guy and you just say, hey, look at the numbers and look at what he means to the team. And it's like the same thing with Alabama. You take Alabama and you put it up there like what they've done on their schedule, the wins and losses. Last year they're in the playoff, but they got in the year before and it was tight. And so they got punished, and it feels like the Heisman's kind of that same way sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's no different. It's like you said, the Bama fatigue. I mean, it's the same. It's the same scenario, just a different award. And it's kind of like when we talked about the playoffs this year. What was it, 2022 or 2023? TCU got in over Alabama when Alabama was clearly the better team. We all knew it. Then the next year they put Alabama in because of the year prior to that. And then the SEC was going to take a beating this year because Alabama lost to Michigan and there was no SEC teams in the national championship. I mean, it's a year-over-year thing, which good for them. It keeps everybody interested, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, we're brought to you by Roback. Use our promo code ROOM20, 20% off your first order. Use that already. Maybe your wife's email address hasn't used it. Maybe your neighbor's email address. Maybe you have two. One's for your kid, and he wants to buy you a Father's Day gift. ROOM20, 20% off. Roback. You are Roback's biggest fan. You love him.
I'm a Roback guy. Yeah, I'm surprised I don't have usually I got one on.
Not today, but normally. So try them for yourself. Hey, guys, buy Jake at ROOM20. 20% off again at roback.com. All right. The other thing I wanted to ask you about was they had a top 10 list. ESPN did a top 10 coaching list, top 10 coaches to watch. And the list goes like this.
Is this best or hot seat?
It just says to watch, which could mean, could be good, could be bad. Bill Belichick at North Carolina, obviously he's 73. He's got the very young and attractive-looking fiance, taking some heat for that, maybe some comments she's made. He's number one. James Franklin at Penn State's number two. It's because he can't win the big game, but they're ranked up there again. Brent Venables at Oklahoma. He's been terrible, and they expect a lot. They went out and got an offensive coordinator. It's do or die time. Then Kalen DeBoer at number 4. DeBoer followed a coaching icon in Nick Saban and went through a turbulent first season as Alabama missed the college football playoff despite the expanded field. He has had a full season to shape and develop the roster and reunite it with offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb, who was integral in the Washington Huskies surge. It must pick a quarterback, likely Tai Simpson or Austin Mack, and get more overall consistency. Another college football playoff miss won't be received well in Tuscaloosa. Ooh, number 4. So I guess it is
Well,
kind of like
good.
a hot. I mean, maybe it's a hot seat, or maybe somebody gets another job because Dion's number 5.
Well, there's no doubt this show isn't scripted. Man, if it was, you wouldn't be able to read the script, huh?
It's look, I don't have my glasses on. You want me to put my glasses on? Would that make you feel better?
This show would never end.
The little train that could, pal. Does that make you feel better? Picking on me on my own show? Oh, no, it's your show. I guess I deserve that. I gotta enlarge the text on these.
That's right. No, hey man, I think it's I don't know if it's it's weird. I don't know if I'd call it a breakout year because we did win. What did we win? Did we win 9 games last year? I can't remember now. Was it 8-4?
9-4.
9-4. Yeah. I mean, I think we get to the 10-game mark this year. I really do. I think the offense. I think you see a lot more consistent offensive play this year with Ryan Grubb and Tai Simpson. Last year just never felt like we got our footing offensively. You never knew which team was going to show up, lift our defense in certain games where you thought we were going to win, pretty handily, left our defense out on the field a lot. I mean, Tennessee game last year, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Vandy, just bad mistakes at the wrong time, 3 and outs. You didn't know. I mean, if you've watched this show, we love Jalen, but it was a weird, inconsistent year. And so you never really knew what to expect. I think, offensively this year, we get the ball rolling and, Tai is not as dynamic as Jalen. I think we may see a little more consistent play. I mean, you're not going to get the same run game out of Alabama like you did, last year and the year prior.
Right.
Jalen brought a whole different dynamic to the run game, for us last year and the year before. But I do think we kind of know what we got. I think Ty is gonna. I think from what I hear, he's really gelling well with Ryan Grubb and like I've said on the show before, man, you got a coach's son. I think those two together, along with Kalen DeBoer, you're going to see a kind of a different look on offense, and I think where we may not be as strong running the ball or giving defenses as much to look at. I think that we keep the ball rolling, and we at least there's not as much up and down.
More consistency.
Yeah, I mean, a few less 3 and outs. I think we keep our defense off the field a lot more, and I don't know if you go in there and think, hey, we may lose games we shouldn't. I think we take care of business. I think Kalen DeBoer's second year, I think he's gonna have a better handle on that. Hopefully go undefeated at home. We really need that. We got away game at Georgia. Pretty strong home schedule, actually. I mean, away at really it's at Florida State, at Georgia. What's the more notable away games?
Auburn.
Yeah, that's a tough
Carolina and Missouri.
Always.
South Carolina and Missouri. I mean, those are tough games.
Yeah. I mean, look, you lose 2 games in the SEC nowadays with the way everything's structured. That's a pretty good year. I mean, I know 10 years ago, 15 years ago, a lot of times you may have 5 games you circle, that are strong nowadays with transfer portal, NIL. I mean, inconsistency at home and then the inconsistencies with other teams in the conference, less depth or at least less knowledgeable depth. I mean, a lot of times guys are just plugging and playing and figuring it out as they go. The schedules are a lot harder. And you win 10, 11 games in the SEC. 11 games is going to be hard to get to. 10, you got to think that's a playoff possibility.
Let's get in the playoff and get healthy. Right. Paul J, great guy, big follower of what we do. He says, what do you guys think about Jamarian Latham saying the vibe on this Alabama team reminds him of the vibe the 2020 championship team had?
Well, I think you got a lot of guys who had a tough year last year. I think, obviously Coach Saban leaving, the expectations weren't quite as high because of the turnover and the uncertainty. But you got guys who hung in there. Some of them getting their first opportunity to start while also being a leader that was, kind of behind in the depth chart. But, like Tai Simpson, we've talked about him all show. A lot of hungry guys don't want to be a part of that group that causes the downfall of the Alabama legacy.
Right.
And you got a more than capable coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. I know, after 2014, we lost to Ohio State. Nobody wanted to get embarrassed like that again. And when you play at Alabama, the standard is up here. It is national championship. Yeah. And I don't think that's left. I think those guys go into each season, that mindset is still there. And, you got to realize, if you're not winning an SEC championship, a national championship, you're not going to be remembered at Alabama. And I think those guys understand that. There's no way that team last year loses to Vanderbilt and doesn't realize, how embarrassing that is. A lot of your legacy lies with the college football career you had at Alabama. So a lot of pressure, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing, and I think these guys are realizing that. And you've got built-in leaders, established leaders already that can take you through that offseason.
Guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Elephant in the Room part of Roll Tide Pods and it's Roll Tide Pods. Cover Crimson. I'm going way back. Cover Crimson. We're on the basically Spotify, Apple, anywhere you want to download a podcast. And it's the Cover Crimson Network. I haven't said Roll Tide Pods in a year. And that kind of two big errors today. Two big ones.
Like I said, unscripted.
We're going to go back and cut this. Anyway, check us out on there. If you can't get to YouTube and you want to listen to the audio, download the Cover Crimson Network shows. It's our show. It's the Cover Crimson Show. All of our regular contributors on there, and we appreciate you being part of this. We're presented by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. We will be there, the two of us, on the 27th. So Steve Azar, which, by the way, I don't know if you got the invite. I got an invite from Steve personally today to be at his golf tournament in June. Did you get one of those?
No, I have not.
Oh, baby.
Tell you what,
I might be able to hook you up if you want to go.
He hadn't seen you play golf. I know that.
Hey, look, I'm not there for the golf. I'm there to drive and drink on the golf course. And make jokes.
Yeah, get Steve to hook me up.
He said that I guess Bradford Marcello is missing, and I was going to get his spot. So somebody thinks they're playing golf with a legendary musician, and then I'm going to show up. What a letdown.
Yeah. That's like when I play in some of these celebrity golf tournaments, and I show up at the tee box, and I just look at them, I'm like, yeah, you got screwed.
I feel sorry for them. They're going to bring all the records to get signed. You signed vinyl? Anyway, guys, Pearl River Resort, Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. It's the Augusta that you can play. Fantastic facility, multi-million-dollar. The Azaleas, the Oaks, hit Philip M. Steakhouse afterwards, and then table games and slots at Silver Star Golden Moon Casino. You got the sports book, all that stuff right there in Philadelphia, Mississippi. We will be back later this week. Great to see all you guys, and roll tide.
River Resort.